What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a podcast that we haven't actually done for at least a year now, I would say, the D&T Podcast, sports podcast. And we welcome you back to our relaunch, I guess, our first episode. And I'm Trevor, and this is my co-host, Derik. D&T, obviously. So we're going to be talking a little bit about, I guess, mainly what we're going to be talking about this episode is the NBA playoffs, what we've seen so far. So let me jump in here and show you guys the screen for people that are watching as well as listening, what the road to the NBA finals looks like. So we can start with the game last night, Phoenix Suns against New Orleans Pelicans. I think a lot of people are shocked that New Orleans took one at Phoenix. I guess you could kind of say that Devin Booker, him getting that, what was it, the hamstring strain in game 2 kind of helped the Pelicans, take that game. But I was kind of off as far as action-wise, betting action last night. I wanted to take the Suns, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to force the issue here. But tell us a little bit. Have you seen any of the series, Derik?
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns. When Booker went down, I thought this would be all right. The thing is with that is like I knew the games were going to be close without Booker, but when you got Chris Paul, he's a general on the floor, so he's going to slow the game down. He's not going to turn the ball over. He kind of exposed New Orleans a little bit, just the way he was able to take over the game.
Just the experience.
Yeah, that just closes games out. So that's what you needed when the games are going to be close without Booker. Mm-hmm. That's the game you needed, and he took over and he showed his leadership. So I think Phoenix is going to be good with this series with the veteran help, and they're just a little bit more deeper than New Orleans in general. And then especially if Booker does come back, it's not really they're not going to have too much of a chance, I don't think.
Well, I don't even think they need Booker to come back, honestly, for the series, just to win the series. Now, once you get to next round, you're going to be hitting Phoenix would be hitting Dallas or Utah next round. But then you would want to have Booker back for that series. But I agree with you, though. Having Chris Paul putting everyone in the perfect spot against an inexperienced young team, that's what you want. And that's, I think, just how Phoenix is going to handle the Pelicans. I'm not even sure if the Pelicans are going to take another game. They might, if all things line up, if all things look good. But
that's the thing.
Go ahead.
The Pelicans, they don't have the ball control assist guy. Like McCollum's good, Brandon Ingram's good. They're really good ISO players,
Right.
They just don't have that who's going to control the game and eliminate the turnovers,
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, the depth alone, Phoenix, and I would say Phoenix, Golden State, and Memphis are probably the deepest teams in the West, the top 3 deepest teams in the West. You could argue Dallas just because of like what they're doing without Luka, but for top 3, I would take Phoenix, Golden State and Memphis for just how long the bench is. But,
yeah.
So we'll move on here to the other. We'll actually just move on down the line here with Dallas and Utah. Dallas leads 2-1 with no Luka in sight. Utah is just dysfunctional at this point. I don't even know if the coach Quinn Snyder, I don't even know if they're even playing for them. Rudy and Donovan Mitchell just hate each other. It's crazy. Even without a Porzingis, Dallas traded Porzingis at the trade deadline, and that was a shock. For who was it for? Was it for Spencer Dinwiddie? I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that was involved. Yeah.
And that was kind of a shock to a lot of people, and seems to be working right now. But I know in game 2, no, I guess it was game 3, the last game they played. I took Dallas on the spread. They were getting like 7.5. I'm like, this is way too much for a team that already beat Utah, and you're giving me 7.5 yet. I mean, I understood it was at Utah, but like I said, Utah is just dysfunctional. I don't know. What are you reading on this series here? What do you think? You still like Utah, or you like Dallas?
I like Dallas in like 7 with Luka coming back, I think. Yeah, with Utah, they're a little too streaky for me. Shooting wise, their defense is in and out a lot. They're just not a consistent team for me, and I think that's what's going to happen in this series. Going to go a little bit back and forth a little bit. Dallas backcourt has really surprised me without Luka. I mean, Brunson, dude, he is a hell of a player, and
yeah, I like Brunson.
He probably needs to get his own team. He's going to be a really good trade asset if they go that direction. But he's a hell of a player, and they kind of play together a little bit more than Utah. I would still say the talent's more still in Utah. But I see it going 7, and I see Luka kind of finishing it out.
So you like to see Luka come back in the series? You think he'll be back?
Oh yeah, I think there was reports that said that he's going to be back on game 4. So
okay, I know he was trying to come back game 3, but they were like, we took one game at least right at that point before game 3, and we were like, we can sit you at least another game. I think he probably will be back, but if Dallas wins tonight, if Luka sits out again, so if Dallas goes up 3-1,
yeah.
If he sits out again, Dallas goes up 3-1. You think why would you try to rush him?
Right.
That's where I'm kind of at with that. But you never know, though. You never know. It is playoffs. So, all right, moving on to kind of an expected look here on Golden State and Denver. Game 4 is tomorrow, I believe. And I think we all kind of seen this, Golden State kind of, I don't even know if Denver's going to get one. Golden State might just let them have one here.
Yeah, I don't.
But, yeah, I think Curry's looking all right. Clay's looking good. Like I said, Golden State's just real deep. And Denver is just hurt. Ever since Jamal Murray went down mid-season, they haven't really been able, for me, to really solidify that they're going to be a top 3-4 team in the West. So Golden State looks good. They look fresh to an extent. They look young. They've been drafting really good the last year or 2. And that's nothing new for Golden State. But I don't know. I'm not going to bet that Golden State's going to take this next game tomorrow just because of gentleman's sweep type thing. But if we could pick a series between the Philly and Toronto or Golden State and Denver, it could be a sweep. It could be a 4 sweep. You see it? What are kind of your takeaways from this series?
Yeah, my takeaway is about the same. I mean, Golden State should be able to finish it out, but I wouldn't be surprised like you if Denver just kind of squeaks one out. And
Golden State just wants to take one back to the house and just finish it at the house.
Right. Yeah, I see that going the same way. I mean, Golden State's just deeper. I mean, well, with Poole now, coming out of nowhere, he's just a fucking good player, man. I mean, and then they're putting Steph Curry off the bench right now to get his legs underneath him, and
right.
They're
Jordan
deep.
Poole, like you said, I don't even think they're playing their rookie Kuminga.
No, they're not. Oh, they're playing very little, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. But no meaningful minutes.
Right.
So
that's
crazy.
Just like him and Wiseman, they're just kind of easing these guys in. They don't really need minutes from these young guys yet. They've just been drafted well and been hitting really everything. It's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. But
I know, yeah, it is crazy. So yeah, I mean, so since we don't have too much to talk about this series, I'll just throw this out. You see, where do you have Jokic in the MVP race?
I mean, he's definitely top 4, probably. I mean, with Murray going down, I mean, he's been leading them to a 6 seed in the West, which is the West is decent this year. So it's not bad effort.
Right. Yeah. But he's not my number one, obviously.
No.
I mean, I think you know who my number one's going to be. I'll just say Embiid.
yeah.
But I mean, you can argue that Embiid had to deal with a little bit more than just injury stuff, to overcome these injury obstacles. Like Ben Simmons, as much as I love Ben Simmons, like he kind of like tried to sabotage the team a little bit this year, So like you kind of didn't know where the Sixers were going to be a little bit, you knew they were going to be good and such still, but I think Embiid had to overcome a little bit more than just an injury. It's one thing when a teammate or a team has to deal with injuries and you overcome that, and it's also another thing when you have to deal with like your teammates that just don't want to play with you, and trying to just be like, yeah, I'm not even showing up to the game. I'm not showing up to support or anything. So I think the storyline's a little bit greater, a little bit better with Embiid, which, they do take into account for MVP. But, and Giannis, I mean, you could throw out Giannis there too, but I mean, he's not number one for me either, So well, who are you looking at as number one then?
MVP?
Yeah.
Honestly, probably either Booker or Morant.
The only argument I would have against Ja is the Grizzlies were just as good or better without him, record wise, But and that's kind of weird to think, but that just shows you how deep and good Memphis is. So
yeah, I mean, both our teams are really good, but I mean, I just see them two kind of the top players in the players in the league.
Yeah, and the Booker one's a sneaky one. I like that one too. But as number one, as the MVP, I don't know about that, because obviously Chris Paul is great and helps put everyone in the right spot, like we said earlier. So, yeah. But speaking of Memphis, so we'll go on to this series, which has been a really good series. I probably watched this series the most so far. Memphis and Minnesota. I know you kind of like both these teams this year, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't think Minnesota was ready yet. I mean,
still young.
They're still a year or two away. They got to get a point guard. As to me, what really hurt him in this series, I mean, Patrick Beverley's okay, but he'll give you something on the defensive end and a little bit of assist, but just nothing to really control the game. And then when you got Russell, he's kind of inconsistent. Sometimes he's lighting it up, sometimes he's not. So it's not consistent on the backcourt as a championship team, But yeah, they're a little too young.
I agree with that. They're very volatile, like very emotional team. So like you'll get something great like they did in game one, but then they'll also swing back the other way and just like kind of implode.
Right.
Like I think that goes with the inexperience a little bit, the youngness, just how young they are. Yeah, like they're a great team. I mean, if I didn't have a futures out on Memphis, I took a futures at the All-Star break for Memphis to win the championship. It was what was it, plus $10 when you're like 300. So what was that, plus 3,000? That was. I would have put a feature on Minnesota if I wouldn't have put Memphis, and I did not want, as a Memphis ticket holder there, I did not want to see Minnesota first round either, because you'll get what you saw in that first game, but I think that kind of is what Memphis needed to wake up a little bit and be like, okay, we're here, let's finish this, or let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just gonna coast through this team.
Well, you gotta think too. Memphis is really young itself. You know, they have maybe a little bit. They have maybe have a little bit more talent, but they're still young itself, and that's where you see the the back and forth and the blow leads, and
right.
So you're gonna see a little bit of all this series. And
well, better coaching now on Memphis.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So who do you like? Golden State. Well, let's just say Golden State. If it ends up next round, Golden State and Memphis. That'd be a really good. That'd be a really good series.
And I think that's who it's going to be. I'll say Golden State.
Yeah, like you like Golden State over Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too deep. Right. And I mean, they got more experience. I mean, that's what do you think?
I agree with that. I mean, I really would like to see Memphis. I think if anything, you're gonna get like 6-7 game series out of that, no matter who you like in that series. But
I think it would definitely go 6. But
man, I don't know. I mean, obviously regular season, you're looking at Memphis took a game. I want to look that up real quick. How many Memphis took from Golden State this year.
It's just hard to not to factor in if Clay was still playing though. Like Clay obviously was hurt for most of the year.
Right. So it looks like they played twice, if this is correct. Or no. Yeah. Played twice, apparently. Grizzlies took both of them, which I do agree with you said with Clay wasn't there for the most part. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good series. It's gonna be a good series no matter what. But I'll lean more towards Memphis, but we'll do those predictions when the time comes.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the East now, and we'll start with the game last night. Miami and Atlanta. Did you watch any of that game last night? That was pretty wild all the way through.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's Trae Young. I mean, he can when he's on. You know, it's like. Yeah. But I don't know. Miami's got to figure it out with the Kyle Lowry thing. But I think they're going to be good enough to hold them off. It's probably going to go a little deeper than they probably expect or wanted, but I still think Miami in 6 or 7 is going to be the outcome here, just with experience. And I mean, on the Hawks side, you got Trae Young, but no one else is really like those numbers, like consistent. Like you're not the people are going to. I mean, Collins is obviously a good player.
Yeah, I like Collins, but yeah. It kind of seems like a missing year for him a little bit, you know, like
right. He did kind of digress a little bit. I mean, I hate to say it, but
I don't know if it was if it's just like scheme wise, you know, like or like share the ball a little bit more. Now he's not like him and Trae aren't the only like 2 real players now, like shooters and scorers. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I guess it's just more of a team play now, and Collins is kind of taking a little bit of a back seat.
Yeah. So I think on these close games, just Trae Young gonna make a little bit of magic, but he just doesn't really have the team, I think, to really sway the series.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm actually surprised. I could have seen Atlanta taking one, but I think Miami's gonna take it though, just because if you can shut down Atlanta for the most part on offense, they have nothing else. Like it's.
Well, they do have a little bit of post defense, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Last night though, I was at the casino watching this game, and I couldn't believe Miami came back in the fourth quarter like that. Or no, it was Atlanta. Atlanta that came back in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, that's crazy shit. I wouldn't expected that. I was actually quite impressed by that, to be honest with you. But
yeah, I mean, look, they showed some heart and toughness, but
yeah.
they weren't going to give up with Trae Young. But
Right, exactly. So
who do you got for this series? And do you have Miami?
I got Miami going.
Okay.
Atlanta might be able to squeak one more out if they're hot, if they're shooting the ball well. But yeah, I kind of like Miami in this one here. But all right, so moving on to obviously Sixers and Raptors here, the Sixers stuff on. Ready for game. Actually, this game's about to tip off right now, 2:00. So what do you look at? Tell me a little bit about your feelings on this series, and I'll obviously give you a whole slew of things from a Sixer fan.
I think the Sixers are going to take it. I mean,
Well,
Raptors might be able to get a game, but they're not ready. They're too young. They're just not ready for these moments. I mean, they have like 3 or 4 guys that can put up like 20 points, but and then the problem for me, the Raptors, they don't really have a floor general. They're just a bunch of young, talented guys. I mean, maybe a year or two and get a floor general, but they're not there yet. And I see them being a general. I see a sweep or a gentleman's sweep.
Okay, yeah, I think I do like Toronto a lot. As a team, which they did deal with injuries a lot this year. But like I like Siakam, I like Anunoby, I like Van Fleet. Very good team. Scotty Barnes is looking good. It's a very good team, and like you said, I think maybe just 1 year off, and having a lack of size or like a real center, especially in this series against Embiid, is very hurtful.
Yeah, they lost. What's his name? They lost the center to what was it? A West team, I think.
The trade deadline or in free agency.
Yeah, was it Memphis? Was it Valanciunas or?
Oh, okay. Pelicans.
Oh, Pelicans. That's where it was. Yeah, they lost their center, so they lost a lot of post defense.
Yeah, definitely. And they're
so now long. No answer for MB.
Right. Yeah, they're long, but they're just not big enough.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think they're gonna be really good next year or the next 2 years. Once they do a little bit more growing. But
yeah,
for the Sixers side, what are we gonna talk about here? Well, first and foremost, we're gonna say for this game upcoming, Embiid has possibly a torn ligament in his right thumb, his shooting thumb, and that's not good. So that's where I want to go with one of my bets actually for today. Game prop or a player prop. Embiid under. Embiid under assist, points, and rebounds. I think it's 44.5. It was. Let's see.
For points and rebounds combined.
Points, rebounds, and assists combined. Let's see where we're at right here. Okay. So yeah, you got Embiid over here. 44.5. Right there. I like that. I don't think, especially in a game like this as well, especially with the injury, I don't think they're going to try to push him too hard, and hopefully they let him sit. They let him sit for a little bit as well. Let Tyrese Maxey do some work. Let Tobias Harris, let Paul Reed do a little bit of work. He's been doing. Don't get DeAndre Jordan there. I don't want to see DeAndre Jordan there at all. He does not. Shit falls apart once he gets in there. But yeah, I like that prop there for today. For this game. But yeah, I think. Well, tell me your thoughts on the Harden coming to Philly. What do you like? What don't you like about that?
I have kind of mixed feelings about it. I mean, it's an older point guard. I don't see his ability to get past defenders as well anymore, but he still has that passing ability, and still kind of like knows the game, can kind of control the floor. I mean, without Ben Simmons, you kind of need somebody to do that. So,
right. Well, and someone that can shoot there too now, so that especially opens up the floor.
Right. I mean, it's a win now move, obviously. I mean, going forward with him, I don't know how many moves he really has left. That's great. But he's still a good player. I wouldn't say great, but he's going to control the floor and give you a presence, even with his name, even if the play isn't super great, What I mean?
Right. Yeah, they gotta respect the name kind of deal.
Exactly.
So I agree with that, but I do not want to see a max deal or a very long-term contract next year for him. Just for him to stick around. I wouldn't mind having like 2-3 years maybe, but I don't want to see no 5-year, finishing out his career here, But I know if they do end up bringing a championship, it's gonna obviously persuade some people.
So, yeah. It just depends on how it goes this year, I think,
But I think with having Tyrese Maxey though, his improvement and just having him on the team, because Sixers are very good at giving up leads. They're very good at looking good for the first half or so, looking good for spurts. But once Embiid gets off the court in previous years and even this year during the regular season, everything goes to hell, And I think having Tyrese Maxey there, having him as a little bit of a scorer now, and he can kind of take over that second unit even. That's what you need when Embiid gets off the court, and I think that's why you see Philly taking this 3-0 lead against Toronto, because Maxey's kind of doing his thing, and you got James doing his floor general type stuff too. But certainly, I think Tyrese Maxey is the X factor here in this series, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, no doubt he's going to be a really good player. I mean, but you got Harris too. I mean, he could put up 20 points pretty easily too. So, I mean, the scoring doesn't even really need to be there for James Harden. It's the controlling the game and controlling the last few minutes, is going to be the difference that he needs to make in Philly. It's going to be those stretches to close out games and at the free throw line if need be, and it's going to be that is what's going to make his money.
Yeah, exactly. I was never the biggest, I was never the biggest Tobias Harris fan. I coming from the Clippers and such. I just never, I never bought into him too much. But he's doing a very good job at the catch and shoot deal since James Harden came over. He's changed up his game a little bit. He played really good defense in Game 3. Yeah, I mean, the pieces are here for Philly to do it, but can they? I'm just so used to them the last couple years of just squandering anything, like they're just everything just falling apart in the fourth quarter, or when it matters, So, yeah. But I do have a future out for them to win the championship too before they got James Harden. So I'm holding out hope. I might have to cash that out after next round. It depends. Depends what it looks like. So. That's our kind of thought there for this. Do you think Philly takes it today?
It's going to be a close game. I think they do. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a gentleman's sweep, but I think Philly closes out today.
Yeah. I think they kind of want to really are motivated to finish it out today with Embiid's injury report. With his thumb. You get that kind of total week off,
right?
So that would be nice. But speaking of the gentleman's sweep, which a lot of people thought the odds were in Milwaukee to do a gentleman's sweep or just a full sweep, 4-0 sweep on Chicago, which is not looking very likely now. Milwaukee does lead the series 2-1. They picked up the win last night. Actually, very commanding, I guess you could say, game last night from Milwaukee without Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's going to be out for about 2 weeks now, I hear, with the strain. So tell me a little bit of something there. What do you see from Chicago? Do you see them making this a series at all?
No, I mean, I think it'd be 5 or 6 games, Milwaukee. Chicago to me just isn't consistent enough on the offensive front. I mean, you just look at DeRosa; they're not a good 3-point shooting team. They're kind of more at this point defense now mode with the injuries, and I mean they don't have Lonzo Ball. They really don't have a great point guard. There's no floor general here to close out games. I mean, without Middleton, that is a blow, but Milwaukee has a little bit of a bench. I mean, Grayson Allen came out big last game. I think he can not come out that much, but he'll still probably put up 10, 15 points. And I just think Milwaukee's a little bit more deeper than Chicago, even without Middleton.
Okay. Yeah, I as you know, I am not the biggest fan of Milwaukee. I always thought they were overrated. Even last year, I thought they were a little overrated, but they did end up winning a championship. So, I mean, I can't say much about last year. So, but I don't know. I just don't see. I was never a big fan of Milwaukee. I don't know. I just didn't see a lot of the hype. But how much? Well, let me go. I'm gonna go over to Chicago here, though. How much did losing Lonzo hurt them, especially in a playoff series like this?
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at it defensively and a little offense. I mean, offensively, obviously, and defensively. I mean, Lonzo. I mean, as much as people want to say about Lonzo, he does play defense. He does try, and he does steal the ball a lot, and they're missing that right now. So I would say a pretty big impact. I mean, would it change the series? No, but it's definitely impacted them a lot.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know. Do you see Chicago taking maybe the next one here at home and making it a 4-2 series then, Milwaukee?
I don't see it. I mean, unless DeMar DeRozan gives you like 50 or Levine gives you like 50, which they're capable of. They're really streaky shooters, But I don't see it unless I see it unless they can do a performance like that,
Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. I believe they are. I believe they're what is it? 4 point favorites. Milwaukee's 4-point favorites.
Milwaukee, yeah.
Tomorrow.
I think so.
Yeah, 4.5 it is now. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stay away from that game as far as action wise, but yeah, I don't trust either one, honestly. I don't trust either one. So moving on to our final series of the playoffs here. We got Boston, Brooklyn. Boston leads 2-0, and it could have easily been 1-1 or even 2-0 Brooklyn this series after the first two games. So yeah, tell me. I know you've always been you always liked the way Boston played the last couple years. So tell me a little bit of something. Tell me here what you think of the series. Do you think Brooklyn has a shot coming back?
I mean, they have a shot. I mean, when you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie in the same team, you're going to have a shot. But Boston's defense is just is what I like about this team. I mean, when you got Smart, even Tatum a little bit, they're lengthy. You got Robert Williams coming back now. But even with they still have a few guys that can just play defense, and they play as one. This team was put together basically like 4 or 5 years ago. Now they're growing. Now it's becoming a team that Brad Stevens envisioned. So I mean, this game's really tough. I think actually Nets will push this to 7 just based on their talent, but but I mean, I'm still leaning towards Boston 7.
Okay. I can certainly see one of these games here, Brooklyn just totally outscoring Boston, not even really making it a game for the most part. I can see them just being up, maybe even a little bit like how game 2 was. Like Brooklyn went up by like 15 or more in the first half, and slowly Boston just kept chipping away at that, and they ended up coming back and winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kevin Durant's going to go off next game, to be honest with you, in game 3. And I do see Nets taking it.
Do you like a player prop then on Kevin Durant?
I mean, what's you want to go over the
Yeah, we
under?
can see if they have anything up here. I
Yeah.
kind of like. Do you want? Let's see. Oh yeah. It's tonight actually. So okay, I was thinking it was tomorrow. All right, yeah. We'll look here. Player prompts. Yeah, I'm thinking. What are you looking at? Points and assists and rebounds, or just points? What are you looking? What do you want here?
If you want to go for it, I'll see here. Hold on. So 20 set. Or what's Durant?
Down here at the bottom.
30 and a half. Yeah,
30 and a
I'll
half
go.
points. 30 and a half points for Durant and 43 and a half for points plus assists plus rebounds.
I mean, I'll go over both, to be honest with you. I think he's going to, I mean, he's under a lot of pressure. I mean, people have been talking, about it. And, we thought these Nets were going to be so good. And look at them now. They're about to get swept. And, I think that storyline is going to play out. And it's going to make Kevin Durant go all out.
I think that number is just about right, though. 30, 31. Okay. I think that's about right. Either way you look at it, there's a lot of money or a lot of juice to the under, though, at 30 and a half. A lot of people are going under 30 and a half as it looks right now. So, I mean, that's interesting. I think that's right around where you think. I mean, do you think he's going to go off for 45 or so? Like what? Like,
I would say 45, but I think I can see 40.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to come out and score, certainly.
Yeah.
At home, they're going to have to. But yeah, I think. Let me see here. I want to see what. Go ahead.
I think it's going to come down to the defensive end. For the Nets, just where are they at defensively? Because I feel like Boston's kind of scoring a little too easily, and they need to have more of a game plan on Tatum and a few of these guys.
What about Seth Curry over 11.5 points? That might be kind of sneaky. That might be kind of sneaky.
He just been kind of
there
confident in his shots. If he takes the shots that he should take at least 12, 14 shots. And I would say, yeah, he would hit well over that. But he's a little timid on his shot selection. And for whatever reason, Brown's been taking most of his shots.
Yeah.
And it's Curry is a better shooter, but Brown definitely can get a hot too. But yeah,
with Robert Williams coming back, you're gonna probably see Andre Drummond out on the floor a little bit more. And look at these rebounds for Andre Drummond over under 7.5 at plus money or at even money for over 7.5. That's I don't know. That's kind of that sounds like a sneaky one too. But then again, if Ben Simmons is back tonight though too, is there any confirmation on that tonight? Ben Simmons being back?
I don't think he's coming back this series.
Ah man, I heard that they were hoping for him to come back tonight.
It's kind of like they're kind of leaning towards him, like, hey, you're ready, but you have to say you're ready. So I don't know if he even wants to partake in the series, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like if he's that broken down mentally and such, like coming back like in a game in a series like this, it's like holy hell.
Yeah. And then if you lose, I'm like, man, we just traded for Ben Simmons and he loses the series for us. That storyline, could really mess with his probably mental health. So I just can't see him going. I just can't see him going into the series.
Yeah, hey, I heard a couple days ago that I seen that they were saying that he's planning on coming back game 3. So we'll see. I haven't heard nothing there the last 24 hours. So I can't say, and I can't really seem to find anything right now on it. So yeah, that pretty much is the whole, our thoughts on this series or on on the first round of the NBA playoffs. But we'll be back. We'll be back and probably maybe tomorrow or Monday and do an updated one. Probably have some series finished for you as well. And we'll be moving on to round 2. So, Derik, anything else you want to talk about on round 1?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so so you do have Celtics winning this series, though.
Yeah, I do. I have Celtics in 7.
I feel like just going with Brooklyn just to be different.
How many games?
Yeah, that'd be. I don't know. It's certainly I see it going 6 or 7 there, like you said as well. I certainly see that. But yeah, I don't know. I'll go with Nets, I guess, just to make it fun. So, yeah, that's pretty much all we have here for you today on D&T Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Let us know in the comments as well what you guys think of round 1. Who you think is going to win the championship? What are you guys going to be excited to see Memphis go all the way? So yeah, let us know. So, all right, guys, we will be back here soon. Like I said, thanks for watching. I'm Trevor. That's Derik, and we will see you guys later.